Hi and welcome back everybody. Hope you all are having a fantastic day out there. Got a great video for you here today. All we ever ask is if you like talking XRP, XLM, and digital assets, drop an X in the comment section below. Smash that like button so we know. And of course, share this content. Let others around the world know what is truly happening in this digital revolution. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, want to put a couple things on your radar. First off, these folks are about to speak tomorrow at Swell on Afric, which is formerly known as MFS Africa. Ripple Net Payment Processor for Africa. That is who they are. Listen to this. 500 million mobile wallets they have, 40 plus African markets connected to US and China, banking, cards, treasury, also 1,300 cross-border corridors, 180 banks connected, and 300,000 merchants going to bat for the XRP army tomorrow. Along with that, I talked to you all a little bit today about some things that JP Morgan has been saying. Listen, this is an up-to-date quote from JP Morgan saying, we are invested into ISO 20022 because payments is the backbone of today's economy, plus DLT, distributed ledger technology. And investing right away will provide real returns before ISO 20022 migration is completed. Absolutely beautiful. And then lastly, before we get into the meat and potatoes here, Digital Asset Daily says, just think, the last cycle XRP was part of, it saw 60,000% over 12 months in gain. Literally went from 0.006, so a fraction of a penny, right, to $3.84. That was speculation. Now there's far greater partnerships and use case. It has real utility without suppression. This can get exciting. And this is what we say over and over in these videos too. It's not about hype anymore. It's about utility. So where we can go from here, in my personal opinion, is way, way higher than we did in the past, which is kind of phenomenal when you think of it. Now, this is something I ran into today. I think you're really going to like it. Michael Hughes, who is not basically, but he's the comptroller of currency for the United States of America. This is a very high position. So, prior to this position, I'll have you know, he was Associate Director of Division of Supervision Regulation for the Federal Reserve. Okay, so what does he oversee? He oversees the OCC. So just so you all know, what that does is it regulates and supervises, I did a little digging here, 1,200 national banks, federally licensed savings and associations, and federally licensed branches of foreign banks in the United States, and regs accounting for more than 2/3 of total assets of all U.S. commercial banks. This gentleman has a law degree from NYU, New York University. He has a bachelor's from Brown, extremely prestigious school, and a master's from George Washington University. And he's talking about the benefits of tokenization. Now, before we get into that, who is going to dominate going forward in tokenization? Ripple, Stellar, with XRP and XLM, and we'll throw some XDC in there as well. U.S. banking watchdog Hughes says tokenization promising, but crypto full of fraud. There is a lot of fraud out there. I do agree with that. So this is the acting chief of U.S. Office of Comptroller of Currency that oversees banks. He is excited about the possibilities of tokenization to solve settlement problems. Sounds kind of familiar. What does Ripple do? They help settlement problems, find solutions with blockchain. Listen to this. Tokenization of assets could be the answer to risky complexities of settling the movement of funds and securities, says Michael, the acting head of U.S. Office of Comptroller of Currency. Here's a direct quote. Tokenization is focused on solving an actual problem, and that problem is settlement, he said at the DC FinTech Week event in Washington. He said, this is boring back office stuff, but this is super, super important. Then he says, tokenization holds the promise to collapse that and to simplify it, and if it's done right. And what he's talking about is transaction problems. He says, anytime an asset changes hands in the financial world, the transaction typically goes through multiple entities, checks of validity, and cleared and settled to officially land into finally the hands of the receipt. So we know that, right? Ripple, Stellar, they solve all that. He said at any of those layers, most of them could carry their own expense and problems. The transaction has risk of failure. Tokenization helps to collapse those promises. So his OCC is so engaged on the idea of tokenization of real-world assets and liabilities that it's hosting a February 8th, 2024 all-day discussion on the topic at Washington headquarters. But when it comes to the rest of the crypto space, he remains skeptical. I believe 99% of the scam and frauds out there are going away. You do as well as I do. I think most of us can attest and agree to that. But there'll be a few winners, won't they? XRP, XLM, and XDC are among them in my personal opinion. Now, lastly, he says there seems to be more and more of a divide between crypto on the one hand and tokenization. He said, crypto, he said, tends to be driven by the hope of speculative gain. It still remains replete with fraud, scams, and hacks. Tokenization, not so much. Absolutely beautiful words to hear from one of the top dogs that's worked with the Federal Reserve, that works high up in control of all the banks in the United States. I salute you all for going on this ride with me as we dig deeper and see. It's like a freaking movie, isn't it? That's all I got for you today. Please don't forget to smash that like button, drop an X in the comments section, share the video so others know what is truly happening in this digital revolution. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all in the next video.